Sidebar with Dr.
Hey
Elle.
guys, welcome back to Not Your Baby Mama podcast. It's your girl Elle, and as you can see, I'm still alone today, but not for long, my friends. Our girl J Marie's not feeling well, but she will be back shortly, like probably in the next one. Definitely in the next one, okay? But yeah, so while she's gone, we've been doing Sidebar with Dr. L. Grab a seat, get your notebooks ready, take some notes, guys, because I still got a bunch of questions from you guys. You have not been forgotten, okay? So thanks for coming back. For our loyal viewers, our subscribers, they're getting up there, but they could get better. For those of you that are new, hi, I'm Elle, licensed mental health clinician. How you doing? And I'm just here to answer some questions that our viewers sent in. If you have a question and you would like me to answer, send it in the comments. Go to our socials, they'll be in the description below, and send a DM, and we'll get to it in our next sidebar. But before we continue, do us a favor. Click that subscribe button down below and the little bell next to it so that you know when we post, because we post every Wednesday at noon. Sometimes you might get a little something on the weekends or whatever if we're feeling a little generous, but that'll let you know when we do it. So go ahead, join our family. It's fun over here, guys. Also, if you want to stay connected, you can follow our Instagram, you can follow our TikTok, and we also have a Facebook fan page. So get in there, get all the links, like, comment, subscribe, follow, share, all the things. Let's jump in, shall we? First question, what's an empath? Good question. An empath is someone who is highly sensitive to other people's emotions and feelings, and also their experiences. So an empath is a little bit different than just showing empathy, right? So I'll just read the definition. Empathy is the ability to understand and share other people's feelings, whereas an empath has the ability to experience this person's emotions on a deeper level, okay? And this could include detecting subtle emotional shifts and understanding unspoken feelings. So basically, they're able to read between the lines. So, like, when you say something without saying it, they catch it real quick. So, yeah, that's what being an empath is. Being an empath is actually very draining because some people are givers and some people are takers. And so an empath will often share their energy or take on other people's energy, and what that does is it can cause exhaustion, like you could just feel drained at the end of the day. Thanks for that question, really appreciate it. Next question, why do men lie? First of all, let me start by saying everybody lies. And I don't mean everybody lies, I mean all genders lie. So let's not make this a woman versus man thing. So I'm gonna reword your question, even though I appreciate the question that you asked. Why do people lie? People lie for various reasons. But the most common, people lie because they're afraid of people's reactions if they know the truth. People lie if they feel like the truth will hurt the other person's feelings. People lie because they're too immature to face the consequences of their actions, even though they felt grown enough to make those decisions that caused the thing that they're hiding. People lie because they've gotten away with it for so long, so why not? Right? Sometimes people lie for, like, with good intentions. Doesn't make it right, but sometimes people lie because they're malicious. Some people lie because they're sneaky, and that's just who they are. Some people are just naturally toxic. So know your people before you ask why do people lie, because your person might be lying because they can't trust you with their honest emotions, they can't trust you with their honest opinions, so they lie to you because they're afraid of how you're going to react. Not saying that it's your fault that they lie, I'm just answering the question, right? And so maybe if you guys had a better form of communication, if you had a more honest way of communicating, if you guys were able to be vulnerable and sensitive towards each other, then you wouldn't be dealing with a lying ass nigga, you know what I'm saying? Or he could just be lying because he's lying ass nigga shit. His mom lies, his dad lies, his sister lies. They the lions. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's kind of a very general question. So if I didn't answer your question, send it again with a little bit more detail. Thanks for that. Next question. Is therapy too late after multiple arguments in a relationship? No, therapy is never too late. Okay. The most common reason why people come to therapy is because they actually argue a lot, and that's why they feel like this is it. Like, if therapy doesn't work, we're not going to be together. This is just not going to work. So really, there's no who can come to couples therapy, right? It's just, if you want to enhance your relationship in any form, go to couples therapy. Don't wait until that person's out of the relationship, because at that point it's really hard to get someone that's done with the relationship to come. But if you're still in it, come. My only rules for couples therapy, at least for my couples, is, do you both want the same thing, and are you willing to make changes to keep that thing? So what I mean by the same thing is, do you both want it, or do you both want to leave? But one can't want it and the other one have to leave. Both of you have to at least want it. And then, are you willing to do what you need to do to fix it? Meaning, you might have to take some accountability for some shit, because it might be some of your fault too. Everyone always comes to therapy feeling like it's only one person's fault. In a relationship, it's never one person's fault. One person might carry more weight, but the other person had something to do with it. So yeah, good question. So here's another really good question, and we're gonna be a little serious with this one. First and foremost, and you know what, I didn't add this last time, but I'm gonna add hotlines in the description as well, like mental health hotlines, for the people that need it, because I just feel like if people are asking these kind of questions, then they might need a little bit more than just advice. So I'm going to put the information down there. It's going to be suicide hotline, battered women hotline, domestic violence hotline, all those, depression hotline, all in there, because sometimes you just need to talk to somebody. And when you call those hotlines, it's a clinician that can talk to you about what it is that you need. It's not a therapy session, but it's just what you need in that moment, and they help you kind of take the next steps and figure out what's next. Okay, so that's going to be down in the description. So all that to say, the question that we got was, I want to save my relationship, but it's getting toxic, almost violent. So it's not really a question, it's more of a statement, but I can kind of guess what they're asking. First, even if it's not violent yet, if you see that this person has that capability, get yourself out safely. The most dangerous time for a person that is being abused is when they are leaving. So if you're leaving, include multiple people in that plan and think it thoroughly. Make sure you have your financials figured out. Make sure you have contact people that know when this plan is going down, that know what their part in the plan is, so that way when that day and time comes, everyone moves like a well-oiled machine and no one gets hurt. Okay, figure out all the phone numbers that you need. If someone is in charge of calling the cops, they can do that. If someone is in charge of moving your stuff out, let's say you got 3 of the biggest men in your family to pack up a U-Haul and get your stuff out of there, that's their job. Your job is going to be at the new place waiting for them, far away from your home, so just in case your partner comes home, you're not there. You're gonna have 2 people, 1 or 2 people, depending on how many kids you have, to be with the kids that day, so that the kids are nowhere in sight, right? Because you don't want to do this sloppy and then things go left and you get hurt, they get hurt, your kids witness some stuff. Because the sad part of our society is that when a person's in a domestic situation, both of the adults end up getting in trouble if the police are called and the children are there. So Like even a mother that's trying to defend her children, she will get charged with abuse and neglect because you've allowed these children to be around this person that you willingly and knowingly know that they are abusive, they're dangerous, they are unhinged, they are unpredictable, and you've allowed your children to live in this house with them. So that's how the law looks at it. They see it as abuse and neglect. So again, make sure that your kids are somewhere else when that day comes, and don't move them into your place until you're settled in. Okay? So what is abuse? What does the cycle of abuse look like, right? Abuse is anytime someone overpowers you in any way with the use of coercion or manipulation or intimidation. Okay, so that's number one. Learn how to identify abuse. But there's a cycle of abuse, and there's 4 steps. And the 4 steps, they just go over and over again like a cycle, right? So the first is a tension build. This is when the abuser creates tension within the relationship. They make you feel uneasy, you're walking on eggshells, you're kind of just watching yourself around them all the time. Then there's an incident. This is when something happens. They could break something, throw something, punch a wall, actually hit you, yell in your face. They do something. There's an incident that shows I'm about this life, okay? And it's kind of scary. So usually after the incident, there is the reconciliation. And that's when the abuser makes excuses, or they test the apology to see if they would be forgiven. They're super sweet, super kind. They might bring you flowers. They call this the honeymoon stage because this is when like things either feel like they're back to normal or things are better than they were before. And the reason why that is because they're kind of conditioning you to believe that this is a one-time thing. That's not gonna happen again. I did it because I'm stressed out at work. I did it because like you made me upset, and if you just don't make me upset, I won't act like that because I love you so much, right? And it kind of puts it on like the person, the victim. Like when you're in it, in the moment, you really do believe it, especially when they start acting right. So after that, there's a calmness, and this is when things are good for a little bit, right? And it just feels like, okay, he's learned his lesson, not gonna do it anymore, like he's totally sorry, that's just not who he is, that's not his character, whatever. And then what happens is the tension starts to build again, and you start to feel like that he's starting to get upset, that you have to watch what you say, walk on eggshells again, and then there's another incident, and the cycle continues. And the thing about the cycle is that between each round, that calm period gets shorter and shorter and shorter, and the abuse, the incident, becomes more intensified every time. Eventually they start actually putting hands, and it just gets more and more and more every time because the person is getting away with more and more and more every time. Do you know what I'm saying? So the first sign of abuse, the first sign of manipulation, the first sign of coercion, the first sign of being overpowered and that person's controlling, leave. Because it's easier to leave when it's early on than when you're already in the middle of the shit, okay? So like you said, it's getting toxic, almost violent. It's time to go. And I know that's hard, but it's time to go, because the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be to go. So again, I'm going to put that information down below. Please get some help. Just rely on your resources. You know, who are your supports? Who are your friends? Who's your family? Like, we always want to keep things a secret, and we don't want to tell people our business. But keeping things a secret and not telling people your business is why people end up dead at home and nobody knows what happened. You know, like that stuff happens all the fucking time. So again, you're not alone. Get some help. Let me get cozy for this next one. Judge yourself and judge your mom, but don't judge me. Okay, it's chilly up in here and I feel comfortable, so we're friends here. We can be comfortable as shit. But anyways, next question. Basically what they want to know is, how do you know when a woman is losing interest? So a woman shows you how she wants to be treated at first. So all the things she's doing, she's attentive, she's kind, she's sweet, she is giving, like all the things that a woman does in the beginning of a relationship is her showing you how she wants to be treated. But how she starts treating you after it's been a little bit, it's her reflection of how you've been treating her. So what I mean is, if she is kind and she's giving and she cooks and cleans and dotes and loves on you and is super touchy and all that stuff, and you aren't really giving that back, like I said before, like she is really talkative and you're not really talking that much, or she seems really interested in all the stuff that you're doing and saying, but you're not really interested in what she's saying, then she's gonna start to mimic you. She's gonna start to not show interest either. She's gonna start to not talk as much either. And so what you're seeing is probably that switch where she's like, okay, he's obviously not interested in me because, you know, I give him all this attention, all of this affection, all of this conversation, and he's kind of cold. So I'm not gonna do that. And the thing about a woman is, not all, of course, it's never all. I don't know every single woman in the world, but for the most part, when a woman is trying, she still cares. When she stops complaining about the things that she doesn't like that you do, or when she stops bringing up the things that she wants to do with you and things like that, that's when she's kind of over it. I'm not going to keep telling you what I want. You're not giving it to me, and I'm going to keep telling you. Eventually, I'm going to get sick of it, and I'm not going to say anything. And I'm just going to slowly start to disappear because I can't be bothered to teach you how to treat me. So why that? You know, like, again, let's say it's me. If every day you hit me up and it's the same fucking conversation, I'm not gonna engage as much as I used to. If you always ask me what you doing, what you doing, like I said before, my answer is gonna be the same every day, and I'm gonna get tired of repeating myself every single day. Like, you know what I do every day. If I can predict how the conversation is gonna go, I'm gonna start not replying, or my urgency to reply is gonna diminish. It's gonna be way less every single time because it's not that interesting to me anymore. It's not that enticing. It's not that engaging, you know? If you don't want the person that you're with, so I'm gonna make it general, if you don't want the person that you're with to lose interest in you, don't lose interest in her. Don't lose interest in them, right? Like, if you want your person to give a fuck about you, then give a fuck about them. If you want them to talk to you, then talk to them. You want them to call you, call them. You want them to text you, text them. It's a two-way street. Now, if you're doing all that stuff and that person not giving it back, be done with it. Because, again, don't force things. If the person's showing you that they're not that interested, then they're not that interested, you know? And it costs you nothing to bring it up. Hey, what's going on? I'm feeling like a little disconnected. I'm feeling a little distant. I'm just wondering if everything's okay between us. You could always salvage a situation if you just talk about it. I hope that answered your question. Thank you for asking it. And as usual, like I said before, if you guys need follow-up questions to the things that I'm saying, send a DM. I know who asked it, so it's not like I don't know that it was you. Just send another question. Or if I'm answering someone else's question and you get a question from my answer, then you be like, oh, you were talking about that thing, I have a follow-up, right? we're all here to help each other and grow. So I'm totally open to that. This is fun for me. I do this for a living. But anyways, next question. So question from a male viewer. How do you deal with your partner having friends of the opposite sex? Grow up. That's my best advice, is grow the fuck up, because we're adults, and this isn't kindergarten where there's a boys line and a girls line, or where there's a boys table and a girls table. Like, people intermingle, and all that question says to me is that, no shade, but you have some insecurities that you need to work through. And like I said, no shade, no judgment, because we all have insecurities that we need to work through. But like, this might be one of yours, because what is it that you're worried about with your partner having friends of the opposite sex? Do you not trust your partner? Because if you don't trust your partner, that's actually the issue, not who they're friends with. Yeah, if you don't trust your partner, then you need to work on trust with your partner. But if you do trust your partner, then they should be able to be around anybody, right? And not for nothing, but oftentimes people are worried about what other people are going to do with other people, because they know they themselves would do those things. So, can we trust you with the opposite sex? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. If you're so worried about it. Because obviously you believe that two people that are not the same sex can't be trusted around each other. So what does that say about you? Reflection, accountability. Just like we talked about in the last ones. If you haven't seen it, well, watch the previous Dr. L's, because we talk about that, taking some accountabilities for what's going on in your relationship, in your situation, you know. But yeah, how to deal with it. You grow up and you acknowledge that your partner is a person, and your partner works with males and females and all other genders, and your partner may become friends with those people, and that's not a challenge, and it's not, you know, it's not an attack on your relationship. It's not anything you need to worry about. Again, if you can't trust your partner, whether they did something to earn that or not, that's the situation at hand, not who they're associated with. So check in again with yourself. What is the actual problem? Is the problem who they're friends with? Is the problem your insecurities? Is the problem lack of trust? Is the problem the person's gender, or is it the person, right? You know, like, do they have history? Is that why you're worried? So ask yourself what's actually the problem, because yeah, that's my best advice for that. Sorry, but thanks for asking. What does it mean when people say you attract what you put out? We've said that in other episodes, so I think that's where that question comes from, because I have said that a few times. But you are what you put out. Like, what that means is, whatever energy you're putting out, whether it's positive or negative, that's what you're gonna attract. Whatever situations you're allowing yourself to be in, like, that's what you're gonna get. You want someone adventurous? Be adventurous. You want someone ambitious? Be ambitious. You want someone entertaining? Be entertaining. You want someone interesting? Be interesting. Do you get what I'm trying to say here? You can't ask for what you can't give. So you can't say, I want someone emotionally mature, and you're not emotionally mature. That's not gonna work. Because if you're not emotionally mature and you get with someone who is, they're gonna make you feel inferior. They're gonna make you feel like they're talking to you like you're a child. They're gonna make you feel all these negative feelings, because they are here and you're not. And that's not, oh, I'm better than you. That's just, I'm more developed than you are. And so, yeah, like, if you're a person that enjoys going out, you're not going to be attracted to someone that's always a homebody and hates going out. There's nothing wrong, and homebody, there's nothing wrong with being a homebody and enjoying being home, but if that's what you're into, then that's what you're going to find. You're not going to be able to meet someone who loves to go out every weekend and loves to travel, and you're going to convince him to be home every weekend for the rest of their life. That's not going to happen. You are what you put out. So if you want something specific, go be that thing, and go be that thing without the partner. Be that thing because that's just what you're into, and you will attract what you put out. You will attract the person that enjoys running because you like to run, and you'll probably meet them while you're running. You know, think about what you want and then be that thing, and chances are you're going to find that thing because that's what you want. And that kind of works in the negative too. If all you do is bitch and complain, guess what you're going to attract? If all you're doing is living in some dramatic world, guess what you're going to attract? A dramatic ass nigga. So thanks for that question. Next question. How to keep interesting conversations going after being together for a long time? Okay. This is a question that someone sent in, but this is actually a question that I get in couples therapy too. Like when people just feel like there's nothing to talk about because they know the person. What I always say is, no, you don't. As people, as humans, we're always evolving, we're always growing, we're always changing as people. And so just because you've been with someone for 20 years doesn't mean that they're not learning new hobbies, they're not getting interested in other things, that they're not, you know, getting involved in things and learning things and growing, and all that stuff is happening because we're people, we're not vegetables, right? Like, we're living a life. And go on dates with your partner. Eating dinner together at the table every day, that's not a date. A date is intentional. A date is planned. A date has purpose, right? The purpose is to spend quality time with each other. The purpose is to show you that I care about you. The purpose is answer blank. So can you have a date night at home? Of course. But it's thought out. It's planned out. Do fun things with each other. But also, again, theme of the fucking day. If you want conversations to be interesting, you yourself need to do things that are interesting to talk about. Don't sit here and point the finger at your partner like, I don't know what happened, there's nothing to talk about. What do you bring to the conversation? Do you have anything to talk about? If it's you always bringing stuff because like you golf with your buddies and you go fishing and you do all these things, and your partner literally sits at home and does nothing, then yeah, okay, that's one-sided, right? But both people should have a life outside of the couple. I'm not saying go on cheating now. That's not what I said. What I said was have your own life, because a marriage or a relationship is two individuals that come together to live a life together. That's what being in a relationship is. So what that means is, I'm me, I like these things, I'm going to do these things that bring me joy. You're you like these things, you're going to do these things that bring you joy. There may be times where I ask you to do these things with me because I want to share my interests with you, and vice versa, right? And there's going to be times where you're not into my stuff, and that's cool, but we could talk about it. Oh, you like fantasy football? I never understood that. Why? Explain it to me. Like, what's the thing? And then, all right, so now I know that you like fantasy football, and now it's football season, so I'm gonna show interest in what you like, right? Who's playing today? Who do you have on their teams? Okay, so now we're sitting down watching the game together, and I'm keeping an eye out on your guy because I don't really like fantasy football, but I know you do, and so I want to show interest in the thing that you're showing interest in. Now, don't be fake about it. If you really could give a shit, then don't. But what I'm saying is, try. If you try and you're like, absolutely not, this fucking sucks, then okay, but at least you tried. And that effort shows your partner that you're willing. Like I said earlier, if you want to be there and you're willing to do the work, you can last. But both people have to want it, and both people have to be willing. So, how to keep the conversations interesting? Be interesting people. Do interesting things. Don't say, oh, we're together, we've been together forever, and we just like to watch movies. That's our thing. That's bullshit. You can like to watch movies and you can do other things. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, thanks for that question. One of the questions was, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember where I put it and I honestly can't be bothered to look for it. But basically what she said was like, how does she get rid of this man? He won't leave her alone. So I don't have enough information about this situation, so I'm gonna give a couple of points, right? First thing is this someone that you're in a relationship with? If you're in a relationship with this person and you need to end the relationship, then a couple questions. Is it a safe situation? If it's a safe situation, then you have a couple options here. First of all, do you guys live together? If you live together, is his name on the lease? Is your name on the lease? The person whose name is on the lease stays and the one who isn't goes. And if it's both, then both of you will leave in, right? So what that means, if this is my spot and we live together, I'm giving you 30-day notice and then you gotta go. And when that 30-day comes, and I've done this before, when that 30-day comes, a U-Haul is coming, whether you're paying for it or I'm paying for it. And I paid for the U-Haul for that motherfucker to leave. So, because I wanted him out of there. And then I also had my uncles and my cousins put all his shit in the truck and drove it to a storage unit and paid for that 1 month and then drove him to family and dropped him off because it needed to end, right? Now, that's one dramatic scenario. If you're with this person and you don't live together, then breaking up is a lot easier. Send them a text, give them a call. Some people like to meet in person. It honestly depends on how it's ending. If it's toxic, then a call is enough or a text is enough. Like, hey, this isn't working for me anymore. I can't be in this relationship, so I'm just gonna have to let you go because it's not working for me. Quick, easy. Don't give them paragraph to paragraph about all the things they did wrong. Baby, they know what they did wrong. Just let them know you're done. Move on, okay? Block, 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 and delete. Block and delete. If you're trying to get rid of this person, but you really aren't trying to get rid of this person, ignore all that shit. Because don't go through all that and then take them back. That's kind of a waste of your time, mine and theirs. But if you're honest, like honestly trying to get this person out of there, then yeah, send them on their way. And if you're the one that moved in with them, when they're not home, pack your things and casually just leave. And as whatever you can, if you can get people to help you move your stuff, then that's fine. But if you can't move all your things, then just accept the L, like leave some of your shit there and just be done. Go, leave, be ghost. If there's children involved, then put that man on child support. Another good question, when you're a healed man, how do you deal with your first healed woman? First of all, congratulations on being healed. Welcome. And congratulations on finding you a girl that is also healed. But now, this is where it gets real. Because up until this point, I'm assuming. But I'm also not assuming because I know you, my boy. Okay. But up until this point, you've been used to toxic situations. You've been used to the drama. You've been used to the chaos, right? Like that stuff. As much as we hate it, that shit is, it's enticing. It's addicting to have someone that loves you and obsesses over you and it's just, they're so into you that they get so upset, right? Like that's toxic. But that is how some of us have our relationships. And so when you're in a situation where both people are in a good place mentally and you're both like equally yoked, right? Both emotionally mature, both have gotten over your history, both have been able to move on, what you're going to find is that your relation might seem boring to you at first because there isn't that spark, that fire. And so it's going to take a lot of communication. You're going to have to communicate your feelings. You're going to have to communicate your concerns and your worries and your fears. You're going to have to let your partner in on when you're not feeling something. You're going to have to let your partner in on when you're confused about something. Because what she's going to do is she's going to feel like she is mothering you if she has to constantly teach you how to communicate. If she has to constantly pull out how you're feeling, right? Because you've introduced yourself as a heel man to her. You've introduced yourself as a man that knows his worth, that knows his place, that understands his role in the relationship. Like, you've introduced yourself as such, and so now you have to behave as such. It's really a collaboration when you're in a relationship. That's what it's about. It's not like we like to say, oh, lead. And I say that all the time, like, be a leader. But leading me does not mean lead me blindly. I'm not obedient to you. I'm not following you blindly. Leading me means you are taking the leadership role, but it's also a collaboration, meaning that you are taking into consideration my thoughts, my feelings, my opinions. I'm not just gonna say yes sir when you say something because you're a leader. And a healed man will appreciate that. A healed man will appreciate the input, will appreciate the back and forth conversation, the discussions, right? We're not having fights, we're having discussions, right? If we don't agree on something, we have a difference of opinion, and we're gonna talk through it. We're not just gonna give each other the silent treatment, because that doesn't fly here, right? We're both in a good place. And so there's that. The other thing is, don't let that trauma creep back in, because sometimes if you're not used to something, you might not believe that it's really happening. You might not believe that this woman really isn't toxic, that when she says something that she means something else, right? Like, you might start to think, oh, she's not really cool with it. Like, she's saying she's okay with that, but she's not really okay with it. Or she's saying this, but she really means that. Like, learning to trust your partner for who they are and for what they say is very difficult when you're coming out of a toxic situation and you're dealing with someone who has their shit together. So yeah, best way to deal with a woman that is healed, now that you're healed and you're in a relationship that is supposed to be healthy, is to make healthy choices, is to collaborate with each other, is to talk to each other, is to keep each other informed, keep each other in the loop, and just be open and honest always, even if it's difficult. I hope that helps you, my friend, because I know that you have done so much to get to where you're at, and without putting your business out there, I applaud you, and I'm here for you. Love you very much. And again, congratulations on your new situation. I only see it going bigger and better from here. Thanks for asking. Okay, last question, because this is supposed to be a mini episode, y'all, but you guys keep asking me a bunch of questions and I'm not complaining. I'm so grateful, thankful, and I'm just apologizing because we're calling these mini episodes, but they're damn near the same length as a regular episode. So anyways, last question. It's a juicy kind of. Last question. Found out my man was entertaining other women. Should I ask about it or just leave his ass? Honey girl, because this is a female that asked. Honey girl, are you gonna forgive him? Is my question to you. Because if you're gonna forgive him, then there's no leaving his ass. If you've forgiven it in the past and you know yourself and you know you're gonna forgive him again, you can bring it up and say, hey, what's this? I know what you've been doing. You found out. He didn't really say. you can bring it up. But again, if it's not going to change the dynamic of a relationship, if it's not going to change the fact that he's a cheat, if it's not going to change the fact that you're still going to be with him, then kind of just let it go and just accept the fact that this is the dynamic of your relationship. I'm sorry. But if you're not cool with it, if you are going to leave him because he's cheating on you, because you don't accept being cheated on, then yeah, just leave him. Because like I said earlier, you are not required to explain to someone what they did to you because they know what the fuck they did. They're an adult. I am not talking to a teenager. I'm talking to a grown-ass woman. You know that they know what they did. So you don't need to waste your time going back and forth, chitter, and you're gonna leave anyways. Just leave. Let him sit there and wonder what the hell happened. You know, don't give him the satisfaction of watching you upset. Simply, this relationship is not for me. I'm out of here. And go. Because you're a dime, sweetie. You don't need to be maltreated. You don't need to be disrespected. You don't need to be hurt. Go and get out of there and live your best life. Thank you so much for the question. So that's all the questions that I feel like we have time for today. Again, I will keep doing these as long as the questions keep coming. So thank you for joining. Thank you. As usual, like, comment, subscribe, share. Okay, share us with your people. If you enjoy watching us, then your people will enjoy watching us too, right? But yeah, this is fun for us. We enjoy potting, and I'm saying we because my girl's here in spirit and she will be here in the next one. So again, appreciate the interaction. You guys are great. Like, subscribe. Make our views match the subscriptions, you know what I'm saying? And get our numbers up, because people need to hear this shit, because these are questions that people are asking all over the place and no one's answering it. So follow our Instagram, follow our TikTok, follow our Facebook, follow our individuals, all the things. Thanks for watching, guys, and always remember, I'm a mother, not your baby mama.
We here to make moves. We here to make moves. With us you can't lose. Us you can't lose. DM is your question. DM is your question. We here to teach lessons. We here to teach lessons. Sidebar with Dr. Sidebar with Dr. Elle.
But the real question is, why haven't you subscribed yet? That part.